Jeanette, Pascal, welcome to this amazing event of the Wealthy Sunflowers. This very special moment. These girls have been waiting for answers, and what could be better than your presence to help us to bring more light and help this movement to grow and show women how to turn their back towards darkness and face the light. Jeanette Pascal, welcome. Tell us where you're speaking from. How are you feeling being part of this movement right now and fulfilling this dream that has been so long and we'll be talking about here? So please tell us where you're speaking from.
Oh, thank you, Christina. It is such a pleasure to be here with everyone. So I am talking from the United States in West Point, Utah, close to the Great Salt Lake. And in my home with my 4 beautiful daughters, I have a 22-year-old, I have a 19-year-old, 15-year-old, and a 10-year-old. And they are my pride and joy. Even our dog is a girl, and she is wonderful as well. So yes, this is where I'm talking from. So happy to be here with you.
How are you feeling? It's been only 10 and a half years since we planned this. 10 and a half years. And it's finally come to reality. Finally. How are you feeling?
Yeah. You know what? I feel not only thrilled, I also feel like all I had to do was just take the step. All I had to do, we've been talking about this, we've been inspired. We have felt like there are words that we need to share. We have to share our vulnerable pain, our joys, and everything with these women. And all we had to do was set a date and a time and do it. So I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to be here.
I'm so glad and grateful. And you said something so important. We just needed to take one step. And it took us 10 years. But in those 10 years, we were not just living things in vain. We were getting ready. We went through so much. And we are expecting to share with every single one of you watching us tonight some of those experiences that actually got us ready for this moment, to give birth to this movement, this beautiful movement that took us 10 years of preparation. And we're ready. We are ready, right, girl? We are ready to share.
That is right. I cannot wait to share everything that we've learned.
Okay. And one of the things that makes Jeanette Pascal so special is her ability to deal with darkness using this beautiful tool called joy. Jeanette, let us know how joy can help you get out of the darkest moment that you face. How is joy such a beneficial thing to to live in your life? I'm telling you, girls, she's a specialist when it comes to joy. I know this woman for more than 20 years now, and she deals with hardest thing in a such amazing way. And that's what I wanted to bring to you. I want you to see it, what I have known from 20 years. Tell us, Jeanette, how joy has been bless you in moments where the darkness just want to eat you alive.
Yes, yes. And there are so many women and men who can relate to that, darkness wanting to eat you alive, swallow you whole, push you down, crush you. And what do you do? What do you do in those moments to escape? There are some days where it feels monotonous as well. And that can be almost just as painful, to have things not change and just feel boring and the same thing. And how do I keep going? How do I keep getting up and doing this? So there's a spectrum and everything in between. But joy is something, I want you to remember this. Joy is something we create. We do not go out and reach for it and grab it and find it. You don't have to go climb a mountain to find and encounter joy. You don't have to see a beautiful waterfall or the perfect flower to encounter joy. You make it. Each one of us is a creator. Every single one of us is a creator. And we have the privilege of co-creation. We have the privilege that we can use our divine help to be able to rescue us, to help us to rise above those dark moments, to be able to have resilience. And the biggest thing that is tempting during that time is to get stuck in a familiar low place. It's easy to feel like, well, I don't know what is outside of this, so I'm just going to stay here, and I resent it and I don't like it, but I don't know what else to do. So there's a formula, and we will share it with you. The formula is beautiful. There is a way to create joy, and I want you to also know it's the focus. It's entirely the focus. So if you feel darkness, that is probably because the darkness is in your face. Sometimes it's because we make choices that brings that darkness in, that we've invited it in. And I know I've done that from time to time. I think every human being has done that. And there are times when we feel like darkness hits us when it's not invited. And it's not fair. So how do we get rid of it? How do we turn our backs to it? And it's simple. It's very simple. It's by turning to the light. And there are steps and there are tools that we can do that, to accomplish turning toward the light and setting that darkness behind us and rising above it. But it does take some movement. It takes a choice.
Girl, that was perfectly explained. But one thing I know that's very difficult for women is to identify when they are in the moment of darkness, because darkness is very subtle. Do you agree? It comes in a very
Absolutely.
subtle way, and
100%.
you don't notice until you're completely wrapped around darkness. And I know that from my own experiences and experience with clients that I have, how subtle and how it started and they did not notice. Please tell us, how can you identify in the very beginning when darkness is trying to wrap its arms around you?
Yes. So the biggest thing is that you need to build in your life your relationship with God, whatever you believe is a higher power. You need to build that relationship and consistency, because you have to learn to recognize light. Once you learn to recognize light, you can differentiate it from the darkness. And then what you do is you will then become more mindful and develop skills where you are aware, keenly aware of how your physical body is affected, how your mind is affected, how it affects your emotions, how it affects every tiny speck in your whole being. And once you realize how it is affecting you, then you can be able to unravel that darkness. If it's wrapped around you, you have to start to deny it from being allowed.
Okay. All right. We have a pause here. We lost a little connection. Okay. All right. You're back. So, can you hear me?
Okay, I can.
Can you hear me?
What was the last
All
thing that
right.
you heard?
You finished, and then it froze. So now,
Okay.
tell us, what is some moments that can actually drag you into the darkness? What can happen in a woman's life that can actually bring her in a very, you know, subtle way, and she won't notice that she's actually being pulled into this?
Mm.
What are those moments? Can you describe some so women here watching us can actually relate themselves, so they can identify if they are being dragging down into one of through those moments that they are living right now. Can you describe it to us? What moments in our lives can actually drag us there?
Absolutely. There are some really big moments that I think all of us can probably identify fairly easily, whether it's some sort of grief or loss, some type of physical pain. But let's talk about some of these subtle ways that can drag us down. One of those is fear of missing out, fear of not being good enough, fear of losing a friend, fear of losing a relationship with a spouse or a boyfriend or a significant other. If we have a fear of missing out, of losing someone, that motivates our actions. And we start to respond in a trauma response. And we might not be realizing that we are placating to exactly what they want us to placate to. So then it becomes the power of another person. Then we actually give another person the power to manipulate us. And ladies, I want to let you know, I have experienced this. I know what that feels like. And I was blind to it, completely blind to it. I probably would be able to counsel any one of my friends, any one of my family members to be able to see those signs. But when it was me, I didn't see it. So, another thing that I want you to focus on is, and to identify, is the time when you feel like you have to do more. You need to serve more. You need to be better. Are those good things to aspire to? Absolutely. Those are amazing things that we can aspire to. We want to keep working toward a better life, right? It's wonderful to set goals. But what is your motivation to accomplish the goal? Is it because you are afraid of not being good enough? Or is it because you love what you're doing? So that's the question I want you to ask yourself with every single choice you're making. That's going to be your question of the month. Write it down every day this week. What you'll ask, am I motivated by love doing this thing, or am I motivated by fear? And if it's fear, then stop yourself for a moment. Worth it. And that will help you to shape and be able to pull out of the darkness. And if you don't know how to get out, reach out, talk to Christina, talk to a friend, reach out. It's okay to reach out. It's okay to ask for help. And that is actually the third thing that I want to talk about. When you reach. So if you are on an airplane and you've received all of the instructions and all of a sudden you hit a terrible storm and this airplane is struggling and having high turbulence and those oxygen masks pop down and all of a sudden you're looking at the oxygen mask in front of you, but you've got these little kids next to you that they need oxygen and they're freaking out and they're screaming. What do? You have to reach up and put it on your own face first so that you can take care of the people you love. That is the number one thing that I counsel people, because I see so much suffering in the caregiving world. And women naturally are nurturers. We are strong as well. But I want to tell you, I know so many women, and it is a natural instinct to nurture, to serve and care for and identify needs. It's more difficult to identify your own needs. So we have to work at it. We have to reach up. We have to be humble enough to ask for help a little bit. And it's okay to do that. It doesn't mean that you're broken. Let me just tell you that right now. If you get counseling and coaching, it does not mean you're broken. It means that you're growing. It means that you're changing and that you're willing to. It's a beautiful process. You are a butterfly that has come out of its cocoon through a metamorphosis. And did you know that a butterfly only flies once the sun touches its wings?
Beautiful.
So once the sun,
That is beautiful. And I learned that with you.
I didn't know that until one of my children's teachers, she sent us home with a cocoon with a little caterpillar. We watched the caterpillar go through the whole process, building the cocoon. We waited and waited, and then the butterfly emerged. And then at the right exact time, we took it outside per the instructions she gave us, and we put it in the sunlight as it unwrapped its wings and then started to bat the wings and eventually just fluttered off. I even got it on video. So that is you. That is, yes. And the sunshine is so comparable to our Lord. The reason that we focus on that is because truly, when the Son of God touches your life and when you allow that light in, that is when you fly. So it's really just giving yourself permission to allow him to be a part of you. It's giving yourself permission to reach up. It's giving yourself permission to want something wonderful in your life, or to even identify those little things that you may have been brushing aside, that they're not a big deal, but are they holding you back? Just identify it, and you'll be able to take off. So what I want to say is that when you feel drugged down, whether it is something that is out of your control or in your control, the first thing to do is to just reach out and just be still and ask your Heavenly Father or your higher power, what is next? What can I do? And then comes the hard part. It's taking the first step. It's moving.
Okay, because okay, you're back. Oh, girls, sorry, but the internet. We're making it. We're making here. But we heard everything you said. Is taking the first step. Taking the first step in moving. And I went through an experience recently. You went through an experience too. You know, where we know how hard it is when you are put in this spot where you feel like there's no hope, nothing can be done, and it's very tempting to choose to remain, stable. And actually, stability is not very good in certain situations like this, when you feel like darkness is coming, it's overpowering you because something is not going the way you expect, and you feel the energy going down. The worst thing you can do is to stabilize yourself. You can't allow yourself to just stay on that same spot. You have to move. You have to make a choice.
It has to be very, very brief. You do have to make a choice.
And can be as simple as what, Jeanette? What is the choice can be? As simple as? Okay, are we back?
Okay,
Can
there
you
you
hear
are.
me? Can you hear me?
Yes. So the simplest, yes. The simplest choice that we can make would be, like I said before, pray, kneel down, or get up and go for a walk. When you are in the fight or flight mode in your brain literally cannot reason anymore. It's physiologically impossible. So when you are feeling like you are attacked or drugged down by that darkness, it's very important to move and to focus your attention on something good, whether it is a shower or a walk, or you just get up and go play with your kid, or you get up if you're a grandparent and you just pick up the phone and you call somebody, someone you love, or you go in the kitchen and you eat your favorite piece of chocolate. You've got to get up and do something to break that cycle in your brain. And I'm not saying, go and get like piles and piles of food, which I've done before. Don't let yourself think that I've never done
Guilty.
that.
I'm guilty too.
But it's really a matter of just moving. And what I mean by movement is coming out of the moment and out of the mindset of darkness. You need to focus on hope. Hope is your answer. Joy is something that is lasting. Happiness can be fleeting. Happiness can be something that's very quick. I am very happy when I eat chocolate. I'm very happy if I go skydiving. I'm very happy when I talk to a friend. But do you know why I'm happy when I talk to my friend? Because she's my forever friend. Because I'm building a lifelong relationship, and that brings me joy. Joy is lasting. So when you can focus on something that is lasting, even if it's the sunshine, even if it is a cloud in the sky, it's okay. Just focus your attention on something that is going to be there to be something that you enjoy all throughout your life, or at least for a long time. So then at that point, your sorrow may continue to exist. But did you know that sorrow and joy can coexist?
Yes.
Sorrow and
It's true.
joy, they are not meant to go together, but they balance. They balance each other. So the reason why we move and why we need this balance in our lives is because sorrow is just a part of our earthly experience. It's what we do with it that brings the joy. So the way that you create, the way that you move is like riding a bicycle. Can you get anywhere on a bicycle if you put your feet on the pedals and you try to balance like this? Eventually you're going to tip over.
Yes.
What happens when you move your feet faster and faster? You start to actually balance more easily, and you get somewhere, and you enjoy the experience, and you're focused on what is around you, not the destination. Focus on the experience and what you are enjoying in that moment.
Yeah. And you said something so powerful right there, because focusing on the end usually takes all the pleasure of the moment, right? We get so anxious to live a result that is so far away in the future that we forget that we actually exist in the present moment. I made that mistake several times because I expect so much to live a result, like to have enough money to accomplish some of my goals and stuff. And waiting for that to come true would take all the joy of the present moment, because I would get so frustrated because I would make plans, I would try to work things out, and it wouldn't flow the way I want to. I would get anxious, I would get frustrated, angry many times. And then I would not realize that the blessing I want was on the way. It was coming. But the sad part is, while I was waiting, there was no joy because I allowed darkness to come and take all the joy away from me. And so now that's a very, very important lesson I have learned in my life, and then I'm trying to share with as many women as possible. Please enjoy the present moment. Whatever you want and whatever you've been wishing for, it's heading your way already. The moment that desire was born in your heart. But don't let the anxiety while you are waiting taking away the joy of the present moment, because we only have the now. And eventually, what you've been waiting for will become the present moment. It will. So just enjoy. Just find the joy and follow what Jeanette just shared with us tonight. It's right at your reach, as looking at a cloud, eat your favorite chocolate, hug somebody, talk to a friend. Whatever that you need is at your reach. Will never ever be far away from you. And that's something we have a lot of experience, right, Jeanette? We have a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
experience on having things that brings us joy right at the reach of your hands, right at the reach of your eyes, at the reach of your taste buds and your ears. So it's never far away, because our Father in heaven is fair. He will make sure that anything that you need will be at your reach. But there you go. There is probably someone saying, but I need money. I need money. Where's the amount of money that I need? It's not at my reach. Yes, it is. You just need to calm down. Jeanette mentioned about being still. Stop for a moment and be still. Connect with the source called God, and He will let you know what's the next step to take. But as long as you agitated and frustrated, no answer can come, no answer can flow in chaos. There's no way. You have to calm yourself down. Okay. But Jeanette, in talking about some questions here and calm yourself down, there are questions that some of our followers sent, and I would love to have you answer them. Let's do it.
Okay.
All right. So the first question comes. Her name is Maribel, and she said, how can I express my insatisfaction without offending the other part? Uh, is that a familiar struggle to you, Jeanette?
Oh, that is a classic age old question, right? So how can we not offend somebody else but still express what our own needs are? That's really what I'm hearing. She has a need.
Yes.
She needs to express her frustration because it's based in a need. There's one thing that I always teach when I teach about dementia. Dementia is a confused state. It is memory loss, but it also is frustration. And when somebody is frustrated, that you have to enter their world. You have to be able to enter their world so that you can go into their reality. And what we teach our caregivers is that in order to move past that frustration, the frustration may lead to a behavior, but that's not the problem. The problem is an unmet need. The unmet need is what the frustration is from. So figure that out first before you communicate your frustration. What is actually the source of your need? What do you need? Is that person responsible for your need? And then once you identify how they fit into that puzzle, then you can express it. And how do you do that? That's the golden question. How? Okay, I know. How do I do it? Okay, well, why do we ask how? Because we are afraid of the result. We're afraid of how somebody else will react to us. We're afraid that, am I going to lose a friendship over this? Are they going to be angry at me? Are they going to say things about me to someone else when they're not true? You know, all of those things can be real fears. And it can be uncomfortable. It is so important to still speak. Your voice is so powerful. And powerful in the way of not condescending or not powerful in the way of controlling everything. It is powerful because you will create change in your circumstance. So make sure that you hold on to your voice and that you use it, that you exercise it. And one of the ways that you can approach it is in a humble way. If it's a sensitive subject and you've already studied it out in your mind and in your heart, then go to that person, either whether it's in person or a phone call, whatever it may be, and say, I would really like to talk to you about something that's really important to me. Is there a good time that we can talk? That sets a foundation for an open space. Then you're asking them to give you permission to talk about something that is sensitive. If it's important, it's sensitive. And then once you're able to have that time in that space, then you can go into the next portion and say, I'm not sure how I'll come across, but I need to share with you some of my feelings. And I'd like to know what your thoughts are too. So that way you're not like, you did this, you messed up, I'm so done with you.
That's very common to happen. My gosh, that's the most common way. It's the finger pointing, accusations,
You know,
and sharp,
right. It's
words. Yes.
It's so easy to go into that mode. And a lot of times we do that in our minds first before it comes out of our mouths. Thank goodness we have filters. So when you're in that space, that creates a safe foundation for both of you to share. And then the other thing that you need to do going into it, make sure that before you go into that space, that you know your boundaries. Let's say that you go into that space with a spouse and you say, I'm really worried that you were talking to a couple of women on Facebook. Why were you talking to them? So now you're in this safe place, this foundation. What if your spouse says, what is your problem? You talk to other people all the time. You are always talking to people at church. You talk to men. I can't have a friend. I can't have a friend on Facebook. What is your problem? Okay, time out. Where is your boundary? That's not okay. It's not okay for somebody when you're expressing a need to somebody you love for them to project and gaslight what you are trying to express. Doesn't that feel awful if they were to say that back to you? So know where your boundary is. And if they say something like that, be prepared with your next move. Because as we said, movement is important for progress. So movement by saying, you know what, I can see that you're frustrated and I would like to continue this conversation. I also need to feel respected in the conversation, so I'll continue this conversation another time. I need to go do something else right now, and excuse yourself. Maybe go for a drive. And if it happens repeatedly, ladies, I was in the place where I never got angry. I had counselors who would tell me anytime I did get a little spark of anger, they'd go, yeah, get it out. Come on, get angry, get angry. Because actually I had buried it way too deep. I had buried all of that because I wanted to be the good person. I wanted to be the peacemaker. And yeah, that can be noble, but you know what? Not at your own sacrifice. So try those steps first. But if it is a repeated behavior, it is okay to say, do not talk to me like that. I do not appreciate it. And if it happens again, you can leave. You know,
Very
it's okay
good.
to do.
Hmm. And that can
So
be with any kind of relationship, right?
it can be. It can be with work. It can be with a spouse. It can be with a child.
Hmm.
Any type of
Okay.
relationship, just so that you know that if there is something of concern and you're worried about going into it, just know how you can be safe in the end emotionally. How can you be okay? It's not going to be comfortable, but how can you be okay?
That's good. Yeah, and that's for sure it's not comfortable. It would never get comfortable. It
No.
doesn't. No matter how much experience you have, never gets comfortable. The main feeling you gotta develop is courage to do it. That's one of the lessons I've learned. You know, no matter how uncomfortable I am, if I have the courage to act, just use courage and make sure that's out there. Don't just hold on the feeling of this insatisfaction, like she said, because it will get you sick eventually, emotionally and physically sick if you kept just swallowing those feelings down and just allowing the other party just to do whatever is mistreating you. And it's better to just speak out, in a wiser way, like you say, use humility, communicate in a such way that the other party is not about being attacked, it's about expressing yourself, and how you're feeling. It's about coming to a common ground. But like you use the perfect example, if the person keeps justifying and doesn't want to listen, it's time to take a break, breathe it out, go somewhere else to think about it. Because if you give in into this person's defense, yeah, things are not gonna be pretty. I
It'll,
know that for myself. Okay, so next question. What do I do to feel more joy on the day-to-day life? Because it's so hard. We talk about that so much tonight, right? So
oh, I love
summarize.
this question.
Okay.
Yes, I love this. What a perfect question. This is our this is our mission in life. How can I have joy on a day-to-day basis? Okay, friends, let me tell you right now, you do not have to wait. You don't have to earn it. It's already been bought. Joy has already been paid for. You don't have to pay for it. It has been bought by our Heavenly Father and by His Son. So, how do you have joy on a day-to-day basis? I'll share with you a few things that help me to have joy on a day-to-day basis because it is hard. And, I'm going to tell you a couple of things about day-to-day life for me. It may look something like this. I wake up. I have been up most of the night with my daughter. I'm still tired. I hit the snooze. I go back to sleep. I'm not super excited to get up because I haven't had enough sleep. Sleep is important. So maybe I allow myself to have another, 15, 20 minutes. Okay, now I'm ready for the day. I start my day. I do all the same things that I do every morning. I have a lot that I have to do to take care of my girls and my daughter who has special needs. They're very medically complex. So it's my life, it's what I do. I'm happy to do it, but it does take a lot of energy. And then I go to work and I put on a happy face and I go to work and I try to, do my job the best that I can, have good energy, build teamwork, get good results. Then I come home to my girls and we have dinner. Sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. They may go different places with extracurricular activities. And then in the evening, what do I do with my extra time? Do I finish working? Do I pay my bills? Do I clean the house? I have all of these things that I have to balance. Do I do the grocery shopping? We don't have anything in the fridge right now. Okay, so that may look like, okay, well, that's kind of, but I have all my needs met. Life is good. But let me paint a different picture for you. Okay. I wake up and I say, thank you for letting me be alive today. I love my family and I'm so happy I have this home, because I could have lost my home about 3 years ago. I almost lost it. And I still want to be thankful for that miracle. And I get up and I start doing the things that I need to do to care for my family. And I ask for help. I ask my daughter, hey, can you go get that bag for me? I just need a little bit of help. And she does it. And I look at some of the messes and some of the fingerprints, and, my dog who has drool all over her fur, and, some of the messes that maybe they didn't get perfectly cleaned up. And I think they'll get to it, just like I'll get to the things that I'm supposed to do. It's okay. I am so glad that I have them. It's so fun watching them grow up. I love watching them get ready in the morning. Oh my goodness, look at my 15-year-old. She's getting ready because she likes a boy at school. Or look at my little 10-year-old. She's playing with the dog. Maybe she should be hurrying to get ready faster, but she's having 5 minutes playing with her dog. That's so sweet. I'm so glad we have a dog. And we may rush and hurry and get on with our duties, our responsibilities. And I get to work and somebody says, hey, how are you? I'm like, I'm doing great. What's going on lately? I just don't know. I'm fine. I'm fine, but I'm here. Okay, let's talk later. And then that person comes into my office later and we talk just for a moment. And she says, I don't even know why I'm here. All of my kids are moving out. There's no reason for me to live anymore. This really happened to me this week. And we talk through those things. And I'm like, girl, I've felt some of those feelings of feeling lonely when the house is empty and quiet and it echoes. Why don't you just call me? And she says, maybe I will. I think I will. And we form a bond and the beginnings of a friendship. And then, the day goes on and maybe my boss gets mad at me and he says, why are you not getting these numbers? You need to be more efficient with your time. So how do I take that? Is it a learning opportunity, or am I going to go into my office and cry? Or am I going to go into my office and complain about my boss to other coworkers? No, that's not going to do me any good. It's not going to do me any good to go complain about things to other people. All that's going to do is create a bad energy. They don't have the same experience. Let them have a good experience. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have that crucial conversation we just talked about. I'm going to express my feelings in a safe place and say, can we talk at this time? This is how I feel. How can I learn in this situation? And then move on. And it's okay. And before you know it, I'm getting a compliment here or there. It's okay. Just keep moving. Just keep moving. And then one thing that I will say is that you've got to set time for yourself to do something you love. You have to. But there is no time. I don't know where the time is, or I don't have any hobbies. What's a hobby? Think of something. If you don't have any, Yeah. Think of something that could be a hobby. Maybe that sounds like it would be fun, so I'll try it. Do that, even if it's small, even if it's brief. Today I haven't been exercising. Am I going to beat myself up for that? No, I'm doing the best I can. But what I did is I played with my daughter on, I have a pull-up bar. I can't do a full pull-up right now, but I just hung there and I did the best I could for a couple of minutes. And it was kind of this play interaction, but I was doing something physical. And I had a moment of enjoyment. Or other times I leave work right before sunset because I love watching the sunset. Other times
Oh,
I
it's
go and
beautiful.
I park my car in the park or by a temple or by a church, and I call a friend or I call my mom or I call, a brother or even somebody who may need a friend, because sometimes I have to get outside of myself. So do all of those things and interweave that in your day. How do you have joy in day to day? You create it. You notice the little things. There was a woman years ago who she was totally blind, almost totally blind, not quite. She could see light, and she had a surgery and regained almost all of her eyesight. And all of a sudden, she said,
Nice.
I could see the rainbows in the bubbles of the dish soap. They were so beautiful. I could see the trees up on the hills. I didn't even know they were there. So it's really about opening our eyes to notice the little things. Notice it.
That's
And just to
important.
yourself, this is a love note from my Heavenly Father. And Christina, you taught me that.
Yes, the love notes to this day still helps me to notice those love notes daily and summarize everything that you said. The key to face it, the difficulty of finding joy in daily to day life is gratitude, right? Find the reasons to feel grateful for everything that's happening, that's going unnoticed, like watching your daughter getting ready for school, watching your dog drooling all over the place, but yet you feel grateful for those moments, to exist in your life. And you, wealthy sunflowers, what are you grateful for? Find reasons. Like Jeanette just shared the experience of this lady. She had no eyesight, and once she got it back, and there we are, with perfect eyesight, being able to see colors everywhere. Don't let things that we think it's normal to have just go, don't take it for granted. And one of the things I love is seeing bright colors. I love colors a lot, like a lot. I have a friend, he's color blind, and I feel for him. He's colorblind, and he has no idea what other color tones, beautiful color tones that exist around us. And just enjoy. Just make sure to feel grateful for everything that's available to you. That everything that you are at this moment, that you can see, that you can smell. There are people that lost the sense of smell. Can you imagine not being able to smell popcorn? I love to smell popcorn for reals. I love it. I can imagine some not being able to smell that. I love the smell of my husband, and I love the smell of rain. And to lose that privilege, that's more than enough reason to feel grateful. And gratitude brings joy for sure, right? And it's a healing thing, is gratitude. Girl, we have time for one more question. And this question is, how can we make our light shine in a such dark moment?
What a deep, beautiful question. I'm really grateful that somebody asked this. This is one of the things that I really love to give the formula for, because the way that this question was formulated is that this person is actually sharing something. Make your light shine. She's not asking, how can I receive the light? She said, how can I make my light shine? So that's already in a creative mentality. That is step one, is knowing that you can change. You can get out of that darkness. So when you're in the middle of the darkness, it's okay to recognize and acknowledge the pain. That's part of the mourning process. It's okay to acknowledge that it's there, it's real. If you've lost a person, if you've been betrayed, if you've had a disease, or you've been offended, or just any of those things, they can drag you down. And sometimes there's no reason at all other than depression. It's just the brain just feeling very depressed. And you wonder, why do I feel this way? There's no reason. It's okay that there's no reason. It's okay to feel the pain. So once you've acknowledged the pain, to create the light, to let your light shine, you actually do need to receive some of the light. You need to reach up. So build into your day a habit, a routine. And if those things are helping you, then sometimes when you're in a very dark place, you need to do it more frequently. When I was going through my divorce, and especially in the year leading up to it, with all of the pain that I was going through, I felt paralyzed. I felt physically paralyzed, like I just could not even move my body. And the only times I could move was to make sure that I did the very bare minimum of what my family needed. But I couldn't smile. I couldn't sing anymore. I love to sing. I couldn't sing. I could barely even speak. I felt like I lost my voice. So how did I let my light shine through those moments? First, I had to pray multiple times a day. I always made sure that there was a time when no one was around where I could pray in deep thought. So I could write down if there was a thought that came to me, anything comforting. I just needed it. I craved it. I just had to have that to survive. So I would pray, and then throughout the day, I would just try to have that open thought process and dialogue with heaven, with my Father in heaven. And then I tried to fill my life with the things that would bring more of that to me. And it was like I was in a desert, and like I had breathed in a sandstorm and I was barely surviving. Like I had gotten, this little tiny glass of water, and I just chugged it, and another one, and I chugged it and chugged it. And it was like I just couldn't get enough. I couldn't get enough water. So I kept listening to things that uplifted me. So it was scriptures, it was talks, it was great books by people who were uplifting, stories that were uplifting, music every day, that was uplifting. And not always my favorite artists during this time, because what I found was that some of my favorite artists, there were some songs that were deeply triggering. They made me think about my pain way too much. So I put those kind of in this imaginary box, and I put them on the shelf for later. And at this time, I found the music. I found the music that helped uplift me every day. And then I just kept moving. And I remember the night that I was asked for a divorce was February 13th at 10 p.m. And the next day was Valentine's Day, the day we celebrate love. And when I was a child, my mom did doorbell ditching for us. So we did doorbell ditching to the whole neighborhood. She always made lots of cookies. I am not my mother. I don't make cookies for the entire neighborhood. I have a certain bandwidth. I know where my limitations are. So, but she did that, and she would actually make a plate for every one of her children that had a giant cookie in the middle of this plate. And it was so special because we didn't get treats all the time. It was very, very special. And it had little candies around the cookie. And it would have our name on it and love a question mark. So it was this mystery of who left this plate. And I don't know how she did it, but she must have been fast. Or maybe she had helpers, who knows? So now I kind of know how she did it, because I decided to start doing it with my children that next day. We made cookies. And let me tell you, my heart was literally fractured. It hurt physically so much that entire day for weeks. I felt like I might not ever recover, but I held on to the hope that I know I can recover someday. So that's the other element to it. You've got to hold on to the hope that you can recover. And then I created a moment. I created a tradition with my girls. We made cookies together. We decorated them. And then I did some doorbell ditching for them. I put it on the porch, ring the doorbell, and run away. How in the heck did I have energy to do that? I believe that it was from my Father in heaven, because I didn't have it all in me. It was Him in me. And I forced myself to do it. If you force yourself to do something, is it fake? No. It is not fake, because you are trying to create something. If you're doing it with the right intention, if you're doing it because it's spiteful, yeah, it's fake. But if you are doing it with the right intention, out of love, you're doing this thing and you're forcing yourself to rise, that is good. That is progress. So yes, my heart was completely torn and smashed. And I had joy, pure joy, the same day. So that's how you do the rising and let your light shine in those dark moments. And eventually, the darkness will leave. And you can command it to leave. You are absolutely the matriarch of your home. You are the matriarch and the queen of your own body. You can decide what to do with your mind, with your eyes, with your hands, with your lips, with everything in your body. You can decide. And if you feel like something is taking choices away from you, get help. But our Heavenly Father wants you to have your own choices. He wants you to decide.
That's for sure. Thank you, girl. Thank you so much. And sunflowers, just let your light shine. You heard her story now, and I was there. when she was going through this very dark moment of her life. And I could tell she was literally dragging herself out of that deep hole of darkness. And you refused to let darkness remain there. And you fought hard. And you are living proof that it's possible. That's why you are right here, testifying that
It
it's
is.
possible. No matter how deep you feel you are inside of a hole, a dark hole, it is possible. You got there, there's a way out. That is a for sure thing. No situation
There
is
is always.
permanent. And now I want to say something. If who is watching us right now, I want to tell you, if you enjoy this moment, having Jeanette sharing her stories, her experience, sharing her counsels to you, if you enjoyed that, guess what? Guess what? What, Jeanette? What is coming? If you enjoy this live, and on July 24th and 27th, Jeanette Pasco is straight from the United States. Will be here in Brazil in the city of Florianopolis on our first event of the Wealthy Sunflowers event in person. You're going to be able to hear her and six other speakers from different parts of the world who will be here, and Jeanette will be one of them representing United States. Yes, that's the big news we have to share for you guys. How are you feeling, Jeanette?
Oh my
With the
goodness.
idea of coming to Brazil to our sunflowers.
Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to meet everyone. Also, I want you to know that this effort is a miracle. This has been in the development for years and years. And the special thing about July 24th, 2024, is that Christina and I share the same birthday on July 24th. So come with us, come celebrate our birthday together. And we would love to have you join us for dinner that day. Join us for our beautiful conference for the Sunflower Movement on the 27th. It's going to be phenomenal. And these other ladies who are coming, tell us where they're from.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have a speaker from Italy, a speaker from Ireland. No, two speakers from Italy, girls. Two speakers from Italy, one from Ireland, and three speakers from Brazil. So get ready. It's going to be a heck of an event. And I will promise you, there's no way that you can ever remain darkness after what you're going to witness at the sunflower, the Wealthy Sunflowers event. There's no way. Because Jeanette and I, we have been planning this for, like I said, for the past 10.5 years. And as the years went by, we went through so many experiences that got us ready to do this, to make this happen. And every single one of the speakers there, them too, they have so much to share. They have such high experience. They've been in a very dark place, and they know how to let their light shine and how to face the light no matter which situation you've been through. Those people, they will share their own experience, and they will give you tools as well to get yourself out of that deep hole at the dark place. Your life will never gonna be the same. I know this event is gonna bless you greatly and everyone that will come to participate. And Jeanette come all the way from United States, and the other speakers there. I'll be releasing their names as you follow us on our Instagram pages, Facebook, all the social media. Get ready. There's so much more to come. This is just the beginning. But Jeanette, thank you for being here. Thank you for starting this. Thank you for finally we brought this to life, and it's happening. It's happening. Thank you.
We'll
Girl,
be here in person.
what would be your final message? Your final message for the sunflowers?
I want you to know your worth. You need to know that your worth is so high. You are more priceless than rubies. You are more priceless than diamonds. So if you're wondering, why am I in this dark place? It's only because you have a promise of something much lighter than the darkness even is. You will reach that light. You just have to reach up. Keep moving, keep praying, keep reaching out to friends and to counselors, and you'll get there. Imagine it, and it will come. You're worth it.
You are so worth it. Thank you. Thank you so much, girl. I love you. And I thank our Father in heaven for the blessed day that He helped me to meet you. And it's so funny how I mentioned that, but that's a story for a different moment, not now. And I hope to see you guys there at the event, at the Wealthy Sunflowers event. It's going to be remarkable and unforgettable for sure. Thank you, Jeanette, so much. I love you. And let the Lord bless you, your daughters, your dog, your whole house. And we will see you soon, okay?
See you soon, Christina. Bless
Bye
you.
bye.